these torque funny because of the horse collar thing. Because if you're not fully seated on the O-ring, and you gotta crush that crush ring, you know?
Yeah, at the bottom.
Yeah.
I got you.
So it's not like you torquing metal to metal, you know, where it's dead tight, you know? It kind of squishes.
I'm worried about that.
Well, I backed it down a little bit.
Oh. Tell me I broke your fucking shit. I'm sure it just snaps back.
Alright, we got it torqued. Fuck it. You're not still filming while you making everybody car sick, are you?
That'll do it.
Alright guys, we got our yellow O-rings in the back. We cleaned the grooves out real good where the turbo pedestal's gonna sit, coated them in some assembly lube so they're sticky and they'll stay put. And in case we don't have it aligned just right, the bottom of the turbo pedestal's flat, so it'll slide on them a little bit. And we cleaned the pedestal up best we can. I didn't have the right brushes, but we got it clean enough where we can spot any leaks. So we're getting ready to go back on with the turbo pedestal, and then we're going to put the turbo on and let the cussing begin from there with up pipes. All right, going back in with the turbo pedestal. So make sure all your bolt holes are not covered up by rags or anything. We got all the 4 bolts in the pedestal, and we just kind of try and line stuff up and just make, you know, pay attention and not disturb your O-rings, and just try and get it lined up and stabbed on top. Don't get too crazy because it's only 18 foot-pounds. So the turbo pedestal assembly bolts, which is what he's putting on, is 18 foot-pounds, and the turbo mounting bolts are 18 foot-pounds as well. I'm gonna double check that with another list I have, but that'll make sense just to not give too much over torque on the O-rings. Yeah, don't get too crazy. We're gonna put the torque wrench on it and torque them down. Cool deal. And what we're going to do is we'll wait till the turbo's all clean before we put our O-rings on here, because the assembly lube will catch dust and stuff. It's all sticky. So we'll put the O-rings on right before we're ready to come on with the turbo.
Okay. Right on.
Laissez les bon temps rouler. Alright guys, we're getting ready to put the up pipes down through the hole. So we don't, what I do is let me get it right here where y'all can see. Let me get the camera angle just right. Okay, so we got the collector and the passenger side pipe. We got a new donut. We got them just lightly snugged where hopefully the pipe doesn't fall out and hit Tristan in the head. And we've pulled, you know, the bolts out and never seized them, so they're ready to go. So we're going to drop one side down, leave this loose where he can clock it and get it situated down there, and then he'll fish the other one up to me and we'll put it on the driver's side. Okay, let me get this down so that don't jackhammer. Okay, we gotta go.
Going on with the
All right, I'm going to the passenger side.
passenger side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think we gotta go behind the dipstick tube, huh? Or are we going on the fender side of the dipstick tube?
No, well, yeah, you gotta come, correct, yeah, you gotta come in front of it.
Here?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, you're gonna have to hold it or clock it or do whatever. I can keep a hand on the collector.
Okay.
But you should, huh?
You on the manifold.
Well, turn it however you need.
It needs to,
What you gotta do?
I think it needs to spin.
Well,
Let's see.
what you gotta, it should be loose enough to spin. Jiggahoos it a little bit. There you go.
Yeah, it's gotta spin.
Is it coming? Or you need me to loosen up?
There it goes.
It's looking kind of close to normal right here.
Okay.
Other than having to go up a little bit, but
Down pipe makes everything fun.
mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe that'll do. That's looking close.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, cause I'll have to shimmy it and
Okay, I'm gonna just run a couple bolts in it loose.
yeah, just get them finger tight where they'll stay on the flange,
Okay.
and then I can spin shit up here on that end. Hey, and remind me once we get this done and we back up here before we put the turbo on, I want to look at this fuel bowl.
Okay.
No, the fuel bowl's in the other one. Never mind. I got so many 7.3s over here. I don't know which one is which anymore. The fuel bowl drain valve that's on the tool truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you have something long that you can push the flange up to the collector on the other pipe?
Well, the donut's gonna keep it up there. Or no, it won't. Yeah, I should be able to get it to you.
If not, I'll get you
I got
something.
an extension.
Okay. You turning chrome?
Yeah.
I hate that never sees crap. I mean, I love it when it works and you breaking it off, you know, later on. But man, I get full of that stuff. I look like I just came from the chrome shop and fell in the chrome. Okay, let me get I'm gonna get my paper towel and get set up with these already greased up bolts up here. For because I'm gonna have to get all in the thing to get these started when it comes time.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my new bolts ready.
I may need your eyes down there once we get ready to stab that, like to line up the collector stuff. Oh Lord. All right. Can you see it when you get in position? Let me know if I got to get the collector pointed to you. I got it kind of roughly there. And what you can do is we can get it stabbed, and then we'll worry about the flange after you get your bottom flange on if we got to. I can't see much of anything, so you just gonna have to give me directions. Hang on.
Okay. Looking good down here.
Give a little push. Okay, you're in there. It ain't going in. Let me stretch it a little bit.
Okay, I got a light on the situation.
There you go. Alright, I got a little finger on your up pipe right here, so you can go ahead and get the bottom started.
You want that?
No, don't worry about that flange right now. Just go ahead and get your two bottom bolts done, and then
it needs to rotate a little bit. And can you come down at all?
You're just gonna have to twist it and pull on it a little bit.
Okay. There we go. Yeah. Okay, let me get them started.
Yeah, just leave them loose and get them started where they'll stay on the flange. And then we'll do the same thing up here. Leave everything loose till we hook it to the turbo.
Yeah. That flange, that's shit. I'm trying to slide that flange up to you because it's hidden on the block. It won't allow me to do what I need to do.
Okay, well, can you get it to my... Yeah. Oh, give me a little bit more. Hang on.
It's hidden on the block.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to poke it.
Alright.
Got it?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, you need me to do that thing down here?
Yeah, do yours, and then I might need you to hold up on the flange with your extension, and I'll try and get a bolt started up here. But do yours first.
It's not really.
You can jiggahoos it and twist it, whatever you got to do. If you need to slide it in or out, just
maybe, because I'm pretty off down here.
What you got to do?
I need more. There we go. More pipe. Okay. I can share that, Sam. Start it.
Okay, get them run up, finger tight, and then see if you can get something that'll reach up here and maybe hold the bottom of the flange while I get the top bolt on.
Okay.
And then I might be able to reach around, or I might have to give you that one with an extension to run up from the bottom.
Yeah, let me see what I can get it on. How's that?
All right, hold what you got. I know there's a hole in the damn thing. Oh, Lord, let me get another hand in it.
I might have started on the wrong side.
Damn it. Crap. Come on, you get in the hole.
I might be able to get my hand right there.
I can't. I gotta.
Okay, hold on. Let me get a socket.
I can't tell where the angle of the flange is.
Yeah.
I know I'm in the hole, but I don't think I'm.
Okay, let me put a socket on that bolt.
Alright. Try it a little bit.
I might be able to get the bottom one.
Alright, well hold it. Take it out, and you got the bolt with you.
Yeah.
Alright. Once you get in the hole, I can roll the flange a little bit left or right and see if you feel it fall in.
Okay. Okay, I kind of got a good picture.
Hold it. Check it with your hand, see if it's stuck in the hole.
Okay.
or if it's loose. You got a thread?
No.
Damn it.
Oh.
All right.
The donut needs to
take a break. I gotta get off of this.
Okay.
Oh man.
Cool.
No, I gotta. You can keep fooling with it if you want, but I gotta.
Yeah.
I'm all cramped up. I gotta take a break.
Yeah.
So we got the collector on. We had to change the plans. I don't know if I got it on film, but we were having trouble getting the flange bolts on the driver's side once we stabbed the pipe in. So we stopped, we dropped that pipe back out, took the collector off. So we put the donuts and started the bolts on both sides. And with the passenger side up pipe stabbed up in there, we twisted the collector on that pipe, and then we were able to stick the up pipe from the driver's side, stab it into the collector. That way the donut and all that's already assembled and you don't have to fight the bolts. And now we got about pretty much hand tight on the bottom and somewhat hand tight on the top, and we're getting ready to go back on with the turbo. All right guys, we got our yellow O-rings lubed up. We got the V-bands on the collector and the downpipe, and now it's time for the red brick. And we're gonna set it on there and kind of situate it, and then we'll never seize and run our bolts in there. And again, everything on this you leave hand tight till you get everything connected to everything else. Once you get that done, then everything's connected, start buzzing whatever you want down first. We're gonna put you on time lapse so we don't have any vocabulary incidences. I just had to let y'all know that the muscle here and put the back collector V-band clamp on like butter. And it goes like butter for me, but like non-churned butter that's in a sour cow. And the whole process usually takes about 3 hours, and I'm hoarse from cussing. And he put it on there like he was just stabbing a distributor cap or something. So I'm a little impressed and pissed at the same time. What is it doing there? Alright guys, so we got the turbo on and buttoned up. Because we pulled the head on this side and we pulled all the injectors out, all the oil in the galley went into the cylinders, and of course we shouldn't have to burp the engine because we wiped all the cylinders out and we had the head off. You know, if you don't have the head off, you got to burp it because oil's going to stay in there, but we cleaned it. So we're going in through the ICP hole and topping off this oil galley. We think we should be all right on the other oil galley because it hadn't been disturbed. And of course, as always on a truck that hadn't run in a while, or that you think you may have lost some oil, you want to pull the Allen key on the top of the reservoir, H-pop reservoir, and top that off as well. And again, you don't have to worry about overfilling that because it'll overflow into the block. But Tristan's trying to see if we can get this galley pretty well full of oil and give this thing a good boost to get started. Tell me when the timer's on. Alright, so this was a little bit low, maybe kind of looked like it's about half low. So we got about a half a bottle in this thing. We're going to go ahead and squirt it in there. Oh, look like we're getting full. It's coming to see us. We're making a mess. Alright, let's go back in. I got a little bit left, and this just overflows into the pan anyway, and this is going to get an oil change right after we get it running, and we're gonna flush the coolant system and get all the oily residue from the diesel out of the coolant system, and we'll do a good oil change and put some hot shots in there, stiction eliminator, get all that done. All right, let me button this up. Let's see. Okay, so that's full, that's full. Put this in the magnetic tracer. Alright, so we got Tristan over here oiling some stuff down, a little oil on the push rods, a little extra lube, just so we don't have too much of a dry start. And we just kind of trying to finish all of our prep, trying to see if we can get the old girl to pop off. That sounds like not live. Is it recording?
Live.
Oh, we live?
Yes.
It sounds like Doc and Marty from Back to the Future, you know? Alright guys, so I got the key off. We did a DTC scan, and the only thing that's coming up is the stuff that we got unplugged, just because we want to test, you know, bump it over and make sure we didn't miss anything before we cover everything up. So we got no fan, no alternator, and we just got battery power and 7.3. So what I'm gonna do is, with the key off in the truck, I'm gonna bump it a little bit with this, and that'll kind of allow it to circulate some oil and possibly build some oil pressure before we actually allow it to send fuel and try to run. And so that's what we're going to try and do and see what happens. All right, let's see. I'm going to run this. Well, I don't have enough. I was going to say I was going to run it in there.
You go from this? Oh no.
Yeah, maybe no, because that's gonna still. Yeah. No. Okay, we're gonna spin it over a little bit and
Keys off.
Just see. Yeah, go double check, make sure the key is off, please. While you're up there, just
yes, sir.
If anything looks unhappy, let me know. All right, here we go. Something, a little cough on one side. It looks like everything's moving. Unhook this, and we're gonna hook our wire back for a key. Okay, I'm gonna go spin it off inside and see if we're getting some pressure. If she does want to start and you see anything that looks...
You want the camera in there, or you want...
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anything that looks
right
code red, just holler.
All right.
But she popped off before, so I doubt she's gonna have any issue, but we'll see.
this?
It doesn't matter. I mean, you can if you want. I'm gonna put this over here. You know, you can set it up like we had it in your truck if you want. Now we're gonna pop her off one more time. So we're looking at where this 15 is. That's the injector control pressure. Engine coolant temp -40. It ain't got no water in it. Engine oil temp should be accurate. Engine control pressure, injector control pressure. This is the 15 is the duty cycle. 23 right here is going to be the pressure, and the manifold gauge pressure is going to be 0. So main thing we have to, and we don't have to worry about RPMs, but main thing I want to see is that 23 climb. All right, let me let it cycle. We'll pop it off, and then we're going to shut it down and put some coolant and stuff. And it should settle back down to about 700. I'm good with it.
Alrighty, y'all. Now that we know it'll run, we're going back on with the serpentine belt and all of the accoutrements. And one thing I did, now that we're putting the belt back on, we're really not sure about this AC system just yet, so I went ahead and unplugged the AC clutch wire that goes to it.
Alright, well, it's the next morning. I don't know how much we got on film last night. We kind of got a little rush. The valve cover's just sitting on there to keep moisture and dirt out. We were putting water in here, and we were getting diesel smelling water, which we expected, out of the front nose cone of the water pump. So evidently the diesel that got in the coolant system not only softened up these hoses, but it also apparently took out the seals in the water pump. So what we're going to do this morning is we're getting ready to pull the fan shroud out, change the water pump out, and I was cleaning out a dirt dauber nest on the fore valve cover over there on the passenger side, and ended up trying to move the under the valve cover harness and broke a little plastic lock-in clip on the forward harness. So I have to see if I can grab us a couple of under the valve cover harnesses this morning. All right, let's get it. All right, guys, this is for anybody that hadn't seen under the valve cover harnesses yet. You got the little pigtail with the wire that just rocks back and unhooks your injector, and then take some needle nose like Tristan's doing and just reach down on the white wire. All the white wires are your glow plugs. You can catch the top of the black plug and just lift it a little bit. When you feel it get free, just leave it right there, and make sure that all your injector pigtails are out and clear of the little tan female. And then once you got that done, yeah, then you can just lift it off. There you go. Watch your number 2 right there. Just kind of, there you go. Okay, and just feed it out like that. So these, anybody hadn't seen it, these are just like your IPR. You know, you plug them in and they snap down, so you just pop them up, and each one is set up for the injectors. The white one is the glow plugs. So we'll go get us another one. Now what you gotta watch, what you need to watch on these are the Dormans. I know a lot of people talk crap about the Dormans, but I like them because they're hardwired in here. I haven't had any real trouble, but that's just my experience, so y'all don't beat me up too bad in the comment section. The one thing you have to watch out for is where they zip tie the harness. So these little cups sit around the upper bolt holes, okay, and you have to make sure that you check your zip ties all down after you get, check it before you put them on, and then check the top to make sure that all of these, all the wiring is free and clear, can't hit a rocker and get rubbed on, and can't get pinched when you put the valve cover on. So this one will just slide in place. And you'll feel these little, see those little cups? So just kind of, don't worry about the wires just yet, just kind of set it, and you'll see where those kind of fit in and around the upper bolt holes. Slide it to the front just a little bit, and then that should fall right into place.
Wires are kind of stiff.
Now what you're gonna have to do, what I do is usually I think I'll take the injector wire first, and just back it down, like leave your plug pointing up, and then just kind of back it down till it'll get underneath the female, and then just ease it up and put your clip. And if the valve cover if the valve cover gasket moves, just let it move. And sometimes you got to do a little jig-a-hoozing to get it in there, and just go ahead and clip it. And if you want to take your pliers, and you can put a curl, like no, just take your black boot and point it down, and then grab it with your pliers and slide it on the glow plug, and you'll feel it. What I do is, once you know you're on the glow plug, take your pliers, like this is the boot.
Yeah, put them on top.
Yeah, put them on top and just push the shoulders of the wire down.
Okay.
Once you know you're on the plug. And if you, like I said, if your valve cover goes crazy, don't worry about it.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, you might want to just go down and hook all of your injectors first, because they require less fiddling, and that'll kind of hold your valve cover gasket in place. So once you get them all plugged in, you just kind of go back and tweak your wiring, bend it, make sure it's not rubbing on rockers, and make sure that nothing is underneath the valve cover that would get smashed on either the bottom of the gasket or the top of the gasket when you go to bolt it on, because that'll create a short instantly. But when they're new like this and the wires are straight, it's kind of hard to keep the gasket sitting right. So just kind of get it in there however you can, and then once you got them all plugged in, you come back and just tuck everything neat, get your gasket seated on the surface good, and before you put the valve cover on, just give it one more check. Make sure that none of your zip tied wires are in a bad way, and they can't get pinched under or on top of the gasket.
Okay.
And then, like I said earlier, if this is the black plug for the glow plugs, and your wire would come out the middle, I catch it with the needle nose on the sides and get it centered on there, and then I'll take the pinchers and put them on the shoulder and seat it all the way down and make sure it's on there. Because if you don't get a good seat, sometimes it'll if you have a glow plug malfunction on a cylinder, it can be because you didn't seat that plug good. And then once you got all your injectors plugged in, you can kind of get that valve cover back in place, the gasket, and then come back and chase your glow plugs. The wires will kind of hold it in place. And sometimes it's hard to get that damn boot to act right and point the right direction when they're new, but you just got to kind of fiddle with it. Some people, you might be able to get it with your fingers and stick it on the glow plug and then push it home with on the shoulders with the needle nose. It just whatever works for you guys. And it doesn't click or anything, it just kind of goes down and seats. So if you think you're down on it, you probably are. Okay, so we're going to get the rest of these glow plug wires on, and then we'll just plug our 9-pin back in, and we're going to do the passenger side as well, and we'll come back to y'all. Okay guys, we're going on back with the valve cover. We double checked our wiring like we talked earlier. On the driver's side, the 2 studs are going to be the first 2 top bolts. You need a 13 wrench to get the one behind the doghouse. Do not take the doghouse off unless you're planning on changing the O-rings or you got a reason to go in there, because those O-rings will swell up on you and you'll have to go find another set. And for me, I usually go in for the infamous one in the back. You know, we're kind of set up with the top side creeper right here, so that helps us out. But if not, get you some patio furniture mats or something, and you're gonna have to slide in. And I usually come in from the bottom and the top to the back of the valve cover, and I usually have a setup somewhat like this, 1/4 inch with a short 13, and I can get to it. Sometimes I'll have to, depends on how that sits with the firewall, sometimes I may have to do a U-joint in the back. But yeah, that one's a fun one. Looks like Tristan's trying to find the hole for it right now. He don't know what he's in for, but it's gonna be lovely. So all right, that's some tips on driver's side valve cover. On the passenger side, the 2 studs, instead of being the first 2 holes like this side, they're the middle 2 holes on the passenger side, and that's your heater hose. The studs hold the heater hose brackets. All right guys, we got the coolant draining. Not looking too bad, but it is cloudy. We had a lot of diesel-y mess come out the first batch. We got a little leak in the water pump that we already talked about, but we're getting ready to flush her. So we're going to drain all of that coolant out, and we're mixing some Cascade in some water to put in here, and we're going to start flushing the coolant system out. We're going to save changing the water pump for later once we get all this coolant out of here. So we'll show y'all how we do that as we do it. But basically what we got is we're going to get about a 1/2 bucket of water and maybe a couple of cups of Cascade, and we got a paint auger for a drill. We're going to stir that up, and we have a washing machine hose which has double females. And the reason we did that is the truck came with a flush kit, and so you cut the heater hose and put this little device in there, and it's just a cap, and it's 3/4 hose thread, but it's male, so you need a double female to go from the garden hose to this. And we're going to flush it different directions, so we'll be using this off and on, and we'll show y'all. All right guys, so we got a couple of cups of Cascade dish stuff, and we got a little over 1/2 bucket of water, so we're gonna put that in there and agitate him up real good. And that's what we're gonna use for the first flush. So we got our funnel in there. We put our drain back in the radiator. We're still gonna be leaking from the water pump, but we're not changing the water pump till we get done. So we're gonna mix this up real good, get it all diluted, pour it in there, top it off with water and run it for a little while and drain her up. We good? All right. Cool.
So that'd be enough to start. And then we'll just top it off with water.
Yeah, we'll just top it off with water.
Let me get you that. So you got it.
Even with all that agitation, we didn't get all of the crystal crap out of it. Well, screw it, it's going to dilute. Alright. We're going to let that go down. We're going to top it off with water and run it for a little bit. So a side note on this, the thermostat was had a lot of rust and crap in it and crystallized junk, so we popped it out. So we put the filler neck back on with just the open thermostat, and with the thermostat out, I'm thinking that'll agitate this more, you know, at least at the cooler temps before it actually wants to normally warm up and open the thermostat. Plus, since the water pump's leaking, when we're done and we get all this soapy stuff out of here, we'll be able to have a fresh thermostat and a fresh water pump that hadn't been soaked up. So we're going to do this. I'll come back to you in a minute. All right, so we've been running at about 20 minutes, and just everything's gotten good and warm, running temperature. So we had a kit that had a T that you cut your heater hose in, and it allows you to hook this garden hose up. And so we're going to slowly introduce water and just let it come out of here for right now and make it vomit out of that. And I'll show you all that a little more later. I hope that's not too much noise. Alright, so we got it. We got the hose cracked just really, really slow, and just letting it come out of the top, wash everything out of that water bottle, and then we're probably going to shut it down for a while, and then after we let this run, we'll mix another batch, drain this out, and put that other batch in. So we're just gonna let this roll for about 15-20 minutes, just with the hose barely cracked, just enough where it'll burp out of the radiator tank for right now. Later we'll pull some heater hoses and burp it that way. I'll show y'all. Alright guys, so we shut off all the noise. We were running just a faint amount of garden hose water, so we didn't want to introduce a lot of cold water to the system, and back flushed a lot of water out of the tank, which worked good because there was cold water in the tank while it was running, until we started running water backwards, and then that percolated the warm water up into the catch tank. So got it all done. Right now we're going to let it cool off a little bit, and then we'll probably pull up our heater hose and run some hose water through it and give it a good flush with no running, but we're gonna let the engine cool down a little bit first. Then we're gonna make a new batch and run it through. Not saying if this is the right or wrong procedure, you got to kind of make it up from yours, but watched a few videos after consulting the Oracle of Knowledge, YouTube, and this is kind of a hybrid way of doing it, just because we had this flush kit T in there. Then we're going to take all of that off before we start, you know, running the truck. All right, we'll come back to you when we're ready to start flushing with hose water after it cools off. All right, guys, we're back from lunch. Let this engine cool down a little bit. So we pulled this upper heater hose off, and we still had our cap off, and we're still tied in right back there into that heater hose T. So we're letting this was all real white like the Cascade water, so that's clearing up. And this is bubbling up a little bit too. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna stab this on, if I can get it without getting me. And then we'll let this bubble up a little bit. Try and flush it. Then we're gonna drain that and mix another batch of Cascade water and run her again. So just trying to go different directions. You could actually put the hose on this heater hose or whatever. When you're down below on the bottom of the radiator, you can yank your yank one of the bottom hoses off and let it drain fast if you can. So just to heat it up, get the soap in it, cut the oil, and dump it out. And when you dump it out quick so the trash will flow out quickly and get out of there. So we're gonna let this run a minute and then drain the whole thing and do another Cascade deal and flush it again. All right, I just pulled the lower hose and fast dumped all the water. It's starting to look pretty clear. It looked a lot white like the soap that was mixed in it. So I'm gonna do one more batch, fill it all up, flush it 2 or 3 different ways, let her cool down, dump her again, and then we'll have to flush her with some fresh water, and then we'll be ready to drain it for the final time, and we got to do our water pump. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to get this filled up. All right, so once again, kind of guesstimating about 2 cups or so of Cascade. We got about half a bucket. Soapy water. Okay, I'm gonna let that go down. It's gonna go down kind of slow, and we're gonna fire her up in a minute. All right, so we just got her topped off, and we're letting her warm up. And you gotta run her a little bit. So this truck doesn't have a TS6 like most of mine, but it's got a got this fancy little switch right here, which appears to be a fast idle switch. And apparently this fast idle switch works pretty good. I think you can use it to adjust the seat too, but works pretty good as a fast idle switch. All right, well, we got all of this flushed the other day. It's a new morning. She's cooled off, and we're gonna run some water through our heater hose attachment. Pop the radiator cap, let it overflow there for a little bit. Put the cap back on. Pop this heater hose, let her overflow for a little bit there. Make sure she's all flushed out, and then we're gonna do a water pump.